Hello. Well, I can't imagine this being any big surprise to anybody. Um, the combination of what happened in Elite Dangerous when I did my last video at the end, and the new update for No Man's Sky being released means that, like a lot of Elite Dangerous players, I've been playing this for a bit. So I figured I may as well do a video showing whereabouts I am in the game and what has changed since I last played it. Well, what has changed is quite considerable. This is the save game from when I was doing my first playthrough, which all my previous videos for No Man's Sky were all from. As you can see, it's been as near as damn it 2 years since I last played it. So there were loads of updates and additional stuff brought into the game, which I'd never seen until this playthrough, which I started not all that long ago, and I have already racked up 114 hours of it. So, well, let's get it started. Now, I'm not going to reveal a great deal insofar as how I got to where I am, because, let's face it, not many people, other than those who've subscribed to this fucking channel, are going to watch this. And the majority of those who are subscribed to this channel don't play No Man's Sky. I think most of them were not exactly dismissive of it, but they felt that there wasn't enough in the game when it was first released, when I was doing my videos 2 years ago, and so they weren't really that interested in getting the game for themselves. That might change now, at least I hope so, because I think what has been added has completely transformed the game, so much so that it feels like a completely different game now. So anyway, you can see the first change. The default view is now third person, which, okay, did take a bit of getting used to for us, but I am now used to it. You can change it back to first person, but I don't want to. I've got used to this. So if we take a look at, well, that's the multi-tool. I don't want to look there just yet. We'll take a look at the exosuit. And I think at in the last video I did from last time around, I'd got it up to 48 slots in the inventory, and that was the suit maxed out in terms of the inventory slots anyway. And you may be looking at this thinking, well, he hasn't added a lot of actual suit upgrades. Did I say soup? Yeah. And also, it doesn't seem to be carrying a great deal. Well, it certainly doesn't look it, but here we go with actually the next change I can show you here. All of the upgrades here. It used to be that each upgrade had a particular name, whether you got it as a blueprint or if you just bought the device, and there would be something written down in the corner here, whether it was +1, +2, +3, etc. And I think they went up to +5 if you got some exceptionally rare item. That's now been changed, and there's now an ABC rated system for the upgrades. So C will still do, a reasonable upgrade, and then it goes up. So obviously the top rated one is S. I've got a few S's. I can only assume S stands for special. So anyway, so even though A sounds like it should be the top, and it is a fucking good upgrade, the A rated one, S is actually the very top. But it still looks like I haven't got a great deal there, but that's because of the next change, which is that the exosuit has various different sections to it. So the technology upgrades can now be fitted into this section here as well. And as you can see, with the exception of this, which is a blueprint that I got, and you do really need to have this one fitted, but everything else is either A or S rated. So this thing here, the hazard protection, that's general hazard protection. It's not like one of the specialist ones like these, where it only protects against one particular, thing. So this thing is pretty important, even though it's only B rated. B is the only thing that shield lattice comes as. There isn't an A or an S version. So, yep. So that's why there aren't quite so many upgrades here, because most of them are there. Now you may also still think, well, okay, but you're still not carrying a great deal. Yes, I am, because the next section is the exosuit high capacity inventory. I've also fully upgraded this. When you upgraded, it's like grated. What the fucking hell is wrong with me today? Yeah, I've also fully upgraded this. When you start, your high capacity inventory has 0 slots. So yeah, I've got this up now to 48, and unlike the general inventory, the elemental materials that you pick up, this has a maximum capacity of 250 in each slot. But in the high capacity one, you can store up to 500 in each slot. So if you're doing a direct comparison with your general inventory here, this thing is basically like having an additional 96 slots rather than 48. And as you can see from the amount of stuff I've got kept here, it comes in fucking handy. Another thing that's changed is that a lot of the elements have had their names changed. Good thing really, because this ultra common thing here, which is carbon, originally that was plutonium. It just didn't sound right, finding plutonium in vast quantities on every planet you landed on. So yeah, I'm glad they changed that. So not all of these elements are particularly easy to find, not least the chromatic metal, which you cannot find naturally anywhere. You have to refine it, and you can refine it from copper, from indium, from emerald, and from cadmium. And those metals themselves, well, 3 of them are not that easy to find, because you have to be in a very specific system. If you're in a regular yellow star system, you will find copper somewhat readily. If you go to a red star system, that is where you'll find cadmium. Green star system, that's where you find emerald. Blue star system, find indium. And all of those, say, can be refined to chromatic metal. Depending on which metal you use, is how much chromatic metal you will get from the refining process. If you refine copper, you have to give 2 parts copper to 1 part chromatic metal. If you refine cadmium, I think it's 1 to 1. Refining emerald, you get 1.5 chromatic metal for each 1 emerald you use, and with indium it's 1 to 2, so you get twice as much chromatic metal as you had indium. That doesn't mean though that once you get any of these, the first thing you should do is turn it all into chromatic metal. To begin with, yes, that's not a bad idea, but later on you will need to have some of these. You'll notice also that in some cases I have the activated version of these metals. They are available from systems with extreme weather conditions, so you're going to have a bit of a hard time once you land there, let alone while you're then trying to mine this stuff at the same time. Refine that and you get, it's either called activated chromatic metal or it's something like pure or ultra refined. Let's have a look. Doesn't say there, it just says chromatic metal, but I'm pretty sure it does refine a different version of the chromatic metal, which so far I've not had a use for, so I haven't bothered refining any of it. Anyway, I'll cover refining a bit later. So while we're on the station here, let's take a look at some of the other changes here. Firstly, there are these guys. This one here, he sells you upgrades to your multi-tool. He also sells a new multi-tool, but so far every system I've been to, yeah, the multi-tool has been shit. I mean, okay, my multi-tool is already quite impressive. It's an A-rated one, so the only time I'm ever going to change this is if I find a class S multi-tool. 24 slots is the maximum you can have in a multi-tool, so yeah, I'm unlikely to change that, so we'll have a chat with him. Yeah, as you can see, a lot of words I haven't been able to translate yet. So it says there that it will offer me blueprints for exosuit upgrades in exchange for nanite clusters. That's a different currency which was also introduced while I wasn't playing this. So if you look at the upgrade modules, again, complete change to how it used to be for upgrading your multi-tool. And let me just check something. Fuck for that, I thought I'd turn the mic off. Yeah, so again, everything is rated C, B, A and S. And they cost varying amounts of nanite clusters. I currently have 10,360, so they're completely separate from the units. I have 28,212,354. There's also a third currency which is Quicksilver. That is, you get that through community events. They haven't started yet. They are for buying something very specific. I'm not entirely sure what yet. I don't think anyone is really, but anyway, so yeah, so you buy and sell these upgrades in nanite clusters, not in units. Now the blueprints, there aren't actually a huge number of blueprints in the game anymore. It's basically the initial actual piece of technology, whether it's the geology cannon, combat scope, scatter blast, or whatever, and then there is one upgrade for it, you know, for each part, and that's it. Everything else is done through those other upgrade modules. This guy here, I'll just check that. Navigation data. Yeah, I really need more of that. This guy deals in your ship upgrades. Now, I've not really bothered much with ship upgrades at the moment because my ship is my weakest area at the moment. I'll come back to that in just a sec, but first we'll show you this guy here. So he obviously does your exosuit upgrades. So yeah, blueprints, yeah, I haven't got a single one left, I've already got them all. And here is where you would buy exosuit inventory slots, but say I've already maxed mine out, so I don't need to worry too much about that. In fact, I don't need to worry at all about that. So here's my ship at the moment. Now it's not terrible, but it is only a C class, and I could have 48 slots maximum, and I have 44, so it's not exactly, you know, awful, but that is where it does suffer. You can have up to 14 slots for your starship technology, and I only have 7. Yeah, and I could really do with some more. One thing I'll point out here, these drives here, so we have the cadmium drive, indium drive there, emerald drive there. You need those drives fitted if you are going to go to particular systems. So if you want to go to a red star system, you have to have the cadmium drive fitted. You want to go to a green star system, you have to have the emerald drive fitted, and then the blue star system, you need the indium drive fitted. I don't know if the game actually stops you from being able to travel to those, or if you do travel to them, your hyperdrive gets fucked up and you have to completely buy a new one. I'm not sure about that because I had all of those drives fitted before I went to any of those systems there. So anyway, let's I'll just also quickly show you the multi-tool. So I do still have one slot that is unused, but I mean I've got the scanner upgraded pretty much as far as it can be. The mining beam, that is also upgraded as far as it can be. The blaze javelin, which is a completely new weapon, I could change that A for an S, so I may well do that. And then the bolt caster, I can't change that one, but I can change that for an S, and even this A rated one for an S. So yeah, it's almost fully done, but not quite. Now I can't fit any more upgrades to any of these, the blaze javelin, the bolt caster, the mining beam, or the scanner. I can't fit any more upgrades to them. If I do, it overloads it and it becomes unusable until you remove one of the upgrades that's causing the overloads. They're all highlighted so you can see which one to remove. So this slot here will need to be taken up by any of these, and I'm not keen on any of them. I did try the pulse splitter and I found it pretty useless. The scatter blaster I haven't tried because it says range is limited, and I don't like taking on enemies on the ground at too close a range, so I didn't bother with that. Personal force field sounds good, but if you read the description, while this field offers substantial protection against incoming laser fire, the user is advised that the multi-tool cannot be used for other functions while powering the shield. So in other words, when you've got this shield up, you can't do anything else. I find that a bit useless really, so I didn't bother with that. Plasma launcher, high impact projectile weapon, launched plasma shells bounce off surfaces until their internal timer triggers a large explosion. So there's not a lot of accuracy as far as I can see with that. Don't fancy that one. Same with the geology cannon. It's basically another plasma launcher, but this time it destroys all of the ground around you. Didn't fancy that one either. So this slot could actually end up staying empty all the time, unless I find some new weapon or whatever that I like the sound of. But I doubt I'm going to. So anyway, now for another change. This thing here, the appearance modifier. I'll just quickly show you what it does. It does what it says on the tin. So you can change your appearance so that you can either just change how you look normally, or you can bring that back up. You can take on the appearance of any of the 4 races within the game, whether it's a Gek, the Vakeen, the Korvax, or a Traveller. I have changed my appearance a bit. This is certainly not the default look, but yeah, it's I'm not going to be doing anything more with that. So that's what's on this side. Well, almost everything that's on this side. There's also an area in here where there are actually have one of each of the main races. So there's a Gek there, there's a Korvax, there's a Vakeen. I've already spoken with all of those, so there's not much to be gained from speaking to them again. Now over on this side, I could take the stairs, but it's just so much quicker doing it this way. As this is a Korvax ruled system, everyone wandering around here are all Korvax. I've spoken to them all, so no need to do so again. This area here doesn't usually have anything in it. We'll search the plants. The deuterium is handy. I do have room for some more. There we go. And I'm getting it mixed up. I thought it was dihydrogen, which I need, but deuterium, so far I have not had any use for it. So that's where you sell or buy whatever. But here, this guy, he will offer you missions. I'll just skip through what he says. So, browse what he has. Raid planetary depot. I do like doing that, actually. I might take that one. Scan 5 plants. You know, I've scanned a lot of plants in this system. There's only 2 planets in this system, so, and I visited both, so there's no point doing that. Kill 4 sentinels. Actually, I may need to do that when I'm doing the planetary depot. And then the cleanse of death, kill 15 creatures. And you have the various rewards there. These ones here I cannot do because, well, they're in red. I think my rating with the factions that are offering them, yeah, my rank isn't good enough at the moment. So as well as the various races, there's also the various guilds. So this one is Explorer Guild, the Exploration Guild. This one is the Merchants Guild. And this one is the Mercenaries Guild. So this one would be, well, it doesn't pay a lot. 5 minerals. It's not difficult, but again, I scanned so much. Oh, okay, let's take the planetary depot one. The depot belongs to rival trader, blah, blah, blah. Right, okay, we'll take that. And I'll take the destroying sentinels, because the sentinels will be guarding that depot anyway, so I can do the 2 missions at the same time. So that's that one. Oh, looks like there are 2 depots I have to take out. That's okay. Right, and then this guy here. Now this varies from station to station. This one, I suspect he's probably not got anything that he wants me to do. So yeah, this is the Explorers Guild. Yeah, he's given me something. Okay, I'll accept that. Oh great, sulphurine. I do not need that. What I'll do, I'll bung it in the starship and then I'll sell it. I've got a load of sulphurine in my large inventory as well. It's just so much easier if I put the excess into the starship, and that way I can just sell the lot. So it was only worth 4,445 for 225 amounts of it. So yeah, it's not particularly valuable. Oh yes, right, one last thing to show up here is this. I'm not going to show you what it exactly is just yet, but you will see that again in a different place a bit later on. Right, so let's launch. Right, so there's the first depot. Let's right straight ahead, which is awfully handy. So this shouldn't take too much effort, especially as my multi-tool weapons are so charged up, so heavily upgraded. Alright, we'll land close by because there's a good chance this place will already be on alert. Oh, they're not. Even better. The second one probably will be though, so we'll save this place. I don't bother renaming anything anymore. You know, no plants, no animals, no planets, no systems, no nothing. Oh, more sulphurine and silver. Doesn't look like this place has a lot of... Oh, okay, that's quite valuable. That is valuable. And more grantine. Okay, let's crack open the old blaze javelin, charge it up. And, right. That has alerted all of the sentinels in the area. In comes. Oh, okay. He only wanted me to destroy 2 of the actual holding container units. Well, that's okay. So you fucker. I have to say, this strategy that I'm using at the moment is not the best because they're firing away at me and I'm just standing there. Right, now let's destroy some sentinels. Right, that's one down. Once I've taken out 4, that's the second mission done. Now this is the toughest that's here at the moment. My aim is not brilliant. Alright, that's that cut down. Now, reinforcements are arriving. I only need to take out 1 of these, which is a good job because one of these is going to be a sentinel walker. So let's just get rid of one of these cunts ASAP. There's the walker over there. I have managed to destroy a walker single-handedly, but yeah, it was not easy. Right, that is that mission also completed. Let's fuck off. Let me just double check that that was indeed. Yep. Okay. Well, that's handy then, they were fucking easy. Also, let's upload that discovery, because it gives me more nanite clusters. Right, return to the mission agent. Oh bollocks, that's the Sentinel. I forgot to wait for the Sentinels to stop searching for me. As it is, it doesn't really matter because I'm now docked. They can't fucking touch me from here. Right, so let's hand in. So we'll get 60,967 units for that one, and increase my standing with the Corvettes, which can't get that much higher anyway. And then the 51,713 for that one. That increases my standing with the Merchants Guild. Right, I won't bother doing any more missions here for the moment. Let's get back to the ship and first thing I want to do is create a new save spot, so we jump out again. That automatically creates the restore point. Get back in again and off we go. Now while you are flying around here, you find that there isn't a single fucking one in the area. I was going to show you the fleets that crop up, frigates. I'll destroy some of these crystalline structures here. They give you platinum, which is always worth having because it is pretty valuable. Not massively valuable. There are far more valuable items that are in the game. Anyway, here we are. A fleet has now arrived. Let me just check that planet. Yeah, that is the one I've been to. For a minute I thought there might have been a third planet here that hurry up, recharge, there we go. Yeah, for a minute I thought there was a third planet that I hadn't seen. But no. So like I say, so you get these large fleets here which arrive a bit like Star Wars, which is out of hyperspace. So you have the frigates here. I knew it was coming. Right, so you have the main capital ship rather, and then the frigates that surround it and form part of the fleet. And they do look pretty fucking good. And as you can see, you can interact with them. Recruitable frigate. What does that say to you? Now this one here with the purple icon, it says freighter, which is a bit of... I mean, it's a capital ship rather than a freighter. Calling it a freighter, I think, is a bit... It's sort of downgrading what it is. You look at that and you think, oh, it'd be great if you could have a fleet like that. Well, let's take a look at my one then. because you can have a fleet like this. So I've got to find somewhere a bit clearer so that I can call my well, again it says freighter, we'll call it capital ship. If I can call my capital ship in. There we go. Right, so let's bring him in. There he is. And then we'll wait for the rest of the fleet to arrive. There we go. These are all mine. These are my frigates here that are all part of my fleet with my enormous bloody capital ship. I have to say, I've never seen another capital ship in the game that looks like this one. So I must have fucking lucked out when I got this. So let's go and dock on here, shall we? And we'll show you what is all in here. Right, so we want to make our way up to the bridge. Oh, another thing I forgot to show. Where is it? It's around here. Obviously you can still interact with the captains of other ships. But this ship here, yeah, this is also mine. You can now have more than one regular starship. I don't use this one very often, and I'll show you why. Because look at the state of it. All of these are damaged and need to be repaired before I can use those slots. So yeah, this was a wrecked ship which I salvaged, and then I left it alone. I mean, it is an A-rated ship, which makes it sound pretty good, but my current ship is actually, my current ship is only a C rated. So yeah, there is an incentive to do it up, but I just can't be arsed at the moment. I'll leave it like that. When it becomes necessary, I'll do it. So actually, before we head to the bridge, show you. Now this area here, you can outfit as much as you fucking well like by fitting various freighter components. So large freighter room, as you see, I haven't got the necessary gubbins for any of this stuff. Now that fleet command room I have already built. But anyway, don't think that this space here is it as far as what you can do without fitting your capital ship. You've seen how big the ship is. So yeah, there is far more space than here. So this is that fleet command station. You can't see much from here because none of my frigates are out on missions at the moment. So, or expeditions I should say. So yeah, there's nothing there, but that's just showing you that it is up and built. Right, now we all head to the bridge. And here we are. So from here, this gives you more missions. Killed 3 sentinel walkers. I would want a downside more than 340 nanites for killing 3 sentinel walkers. That reminds me actually. Oh bollocks! I forgot to change back my. Right, so sulfurine again. I need to sell. The pugnium. I also want to sell. That quad servo though. I need another one of those for another upgrade. So the freighter warp map is quite literally the
orbital station coordinates received.
Yeah, I don't need to worry about that just yet. That's just another Atlas station. Yeah, hurry up. Right, here we go. So, yeah, that's just plotting your course, and then you can hyperspace just like you do normally when you're in your own regular starship. Now here we have the fleet manager. So that's where we can check out the status of my fleet. So what I've basically got is 2 of each particular role. So I have 2 support frigates, 2 exploration frigates, 2 industrial, 2 trade, 2 combat. I'm not that keen on the fact that I've got so many C-rated ones. 6 of the 10 frigates that I have here are C-rated. Oh well, I mean, we'll soon find out how they do. So, got some new expeditions available. Let's take a look. Right. Now the difficulty rating does rather underestimate actually how difficult these missions are. A lot of the time, no matter what mission I send frigates on, I will very soon get a report saying that one frigate has been damaged and needs to come back and needs urgent repairs and all that. That's when you then land on the frigate itself rather than just on the capital ship here and go and sort it out. Let's have a look at this one. Right, so this is I forgot the industrial expedition. So let's have a look. So well, I've got this B-rated industrial one here. I forgot to actually take a closer look at it, but oh well, B-rated, it should be able to do it. And if I send an A-rated support vessel with it, that should certainly help out there. So right, those 2 ships are assigned. You can only send up to 5 on each one. And then we have these upgrade modules. So I've got 2 mind control device allowing the fleet commander to gain the upper hand in any negotiation. And this is an industrial one, so yeah, that will be very handy. This other one here, yeah, that's really for combat. I don't need to use that one. Okay, it requires 50 tons of fuel. I've easily got that. So we'll launch that one. So they are off. Now if we check the freighter inventory, yeah, as you can see, here's my fuel. So I've got a 50-ton canister there, and this one's a 200 ton. So yeah, I'm doing quite okay as far as fuel goes. I've never found a capital ship that has anything other than 33 freighter slots and 4 freighter technology slots, so I can only assume that they're all the same there. But yeah, this is a B class freighter, which is very handy. So I think I lucked out there with those. So at the moment, that is all I can do on here. When I say all, I mean, you know, none of this was in the game when it first came out. So yeah, I'm quite happy about that. Right, let's get back into my ship. Now, unfortunately, the freighter, the capital ship, whatever you want to call it, does have a pretty serious bug. Which is that if you are on board the freighter, or on board the capital ship, and it then gets attacked by enemy vessels, it goes into lockdown. So the launch bays are, well, they're closed, and they do not open. And if you are on board, you are stuck there. And if you're lucky, the battle outside will end, but I have never seen that happen. I've only had that bug crop up to me once, but it was every time I loaded my saved game at the time. and the only way I could get around it was to load, instead of loading up the autosave, I rather fortunately had a manual save somewhere else, so I did lose some what do you call it, progress, but I did also manage to keep some. Anyway, so we'll put the sulfurine and the silver so I don't accidentally sell what I'm keeping back. I don't want to sell the quad servo, so we'll keep that safe in here for the moment. Right, so platinum, silver, gold and sulfurine from here, and then the magno gold and grantine from here. That's what we want to sell. So, platinum, I don't have much of any of these, so I'm not going to make a lot from those. 14,000 for that, it's not terrible. And the silver there. Alright, and then from my inventory, it's this could take a while to find the there we go, right, magno gold, 5 of those, 122,000, I'll take that. And the grantine, I have 10 of those, 246,900, so pretty close to $250,000 for that one. So that brings my total units up to 28,734,746. I could have sold that navigation data, which I'm not going to use, but well, for the moment, yeah, I haven't got any room for that. Right, so now let's use the old station terminus teleporter here, which I showed briefly earlier. And this can take you to any station that you have visited in any system, which is quite handy. The trouble is, I need a bit of a clue to tell me which one I want to go to. So we'll make this the active mission, and hopefully that will then no, it's not going to show me what one it is. Right, well, let's hope it's this one. So this is the problem with not renaming any system, is now I don't know which one is which. Now, you don't need to be particularly sharp-eyed to have seen that there was a place there called Lucosa Base, and what I'm hoping is that I am in the system now with Lucosa Base in it. We'll soon find out. Yes, right, so current system. Now we won't use the teleporter to take us there, even though we can. We'll fly in. But because of that teleporter there, when you build the base, it doesn't necessarily mean, oh, okay, now I've got to stick around this system and just wait for, well, you know, leave or risk leaving the base behind. No, you never do that. You can carry on going and then just teleport back to the base whenever you feel like it. And as you saw, your ship gets teleported with you, so you're always okay there. Now I want to bring my fleet back here. This is where I usually have my fleet stationed. It's actually in this system. Again, I've got to get further away from wherever I am, so there's room for it to room for it to blast into. Still no room. That's a real pain in the arse. Let's get a bit further away from the space station and see if I can do it now. Yep. Right, so in he comes. And 8 of the frigates will then follow because the other 2 are on an expedition. There we go. Right, so they've all shown up. Put that up there for now. Right, let's get my get myself lined up with my planet-sized base, and we'll head out to Lucosa base. Now you may be thinking it's on this planet we're approaching. No, it's actually on one of the 2 moons that orbit that planet there. Now, for the most part, Lucosa base is fully built. I just need to do, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I need to do a spot of decorating inside it. Now, the latest update to No Man's Sky didn't introduce any of the things I've shown you so far. All that really introduced is the multiplayer aspect. So any player can visit my base here. But you can only visit a base if the player who owns it is online. So that's it from orbit. Bit of a sprawling mass. Just fly over there. And that is an Atlas teleport. And that is why I built my base where it is, because it's in close proximity to that thing. Now, I don't mind telling you, this base used up a fucking shitload of resources. So anyway, we have landed. Now there is the old teleporter, so that should be where you appear if you use the teleporter for this base, but well, the game does have some other glitches. It's not just that freighter bug I told you about. So I suppose I may as well give you the guided tour. So you come in through one of the 2 entrances here to the landing pads. That's not one of my ships, that's an alien that's visiting my base here. And this is the main farming area. I've got it set up, but I'm not actually growing anything yet. This is a way of getting huge amounts of resources. So I have 36 of these hydroponic trays in here. Yeah, I've just got to decide what I'm going to grow. I also have another 4 hydroponic trays somewhere else in the building, which I'm using to test which crop is worth growing, which plant. So, as you can see, this room is pretty sparse. I need to put some stuff in here, but it is also the ladder down to the rest of the base. So the base is effectively on 2 levels. In there is another one of those appearance modifiers. So if you didn't use it on the station but wanted to, you can use the one on my base here. I'll show you that part of the base when we come on. making our way back up again. This is my weapons researcher. I don't have anything to do with him at the moment. This is the large refiner. So like when I was talking about earlier, refining your emerald or your indium or whatever, this is where it's done. So you will get chromatic metal. Obviously you can refine all sorts of other fucking stuff as well. Let's see. Recharge that. So if you refine ferrite dust, you get pure ferrite. If you refine the pure ferrite, you get magnetized ferrite. If you refine regular carbon, you'll get condensed carbon. If you put salt in there, you'll get chlorine. Cobalt, you'll get ionized cobalt. Sodium, you'll get sodium nitrate. I mean, that's just scratching the surface. Also, you'll notice that you could put 3 items in here. If you combine different elemental stuff, you'll get a different you get a different output. I know a couple of them, or I've been told a couple of them, and I can't remember them, so fuck it. This is the medium refiner. So this has 2. There is also a small one, which is a portable one that you carry with you. That just refines one thing. You can't combine anything in that. This is the base overseer. Again, he doesn't have any missions for me. Not yet, anyway. Come around here, that beacon, that doesn't really do a lot. Just what it says on the tin. I can take it with me. And if you put it down anywhere, it just gives off this signal, so it always shows you where to land to pick it up. You know, handy, but I don't really need it at the moment. That's my scientist. So here we have a trade terminal which I fitted. This is the rear entry and exit, which takes you straight to the Atlas teleporter. This is the actual base computer. I used to have this place set up so that when you landed you would always get a message saying you have reached the arse end of space, but I took it off because it was irritating me. So if you have any, if you've done any changes or if you want to rename it, you do it here, and then if you upload the base, uploads it to the servers. So now if anyone comes along, the base will look like what you're seeing here. I haven't changed anything, so it's not making a huge difference. Right. Now, like I say, you can only go to another player's base if that player is online and in the game at the same time, which is a limitation that I like, because you can be a real cunt while you're in another player's base if you want to be. Anyway, so here we have the first aid, and that one will recharge your shields. This bloke here is the bloke who sorts out your exocraft. I'll cover those when I've finished with this tour. So up here we have the farmer. Right, now that's the star bramble which I've just been growing. So I've got 25 star bulbs. I'll grab the selenium from that. That doesn't seem to, there we go. So I got the sac venom from that, and the gravitino ball from there. So how much is that worth? 11,685. So it's not worth as much as the gravitino ball. Selenium, I've got plenty of that already, but that's going to be used for crafting stuff. So anyway, I've done that. Let's see what is the next plant he gives me. More diet root. Well, Mordite is handy actually for when I'm trying to learn stuff from the Vy'keen. So produces Mordite crystals, okay. Right, okay. Right, so that's the last mission he's going to give me. Well, let's get rid of the selenium because that, oops, takes fucking ages to grow, and I can actually grow that anywhere on this planet. So let's there's the farming stuff and the plants. Right, so he wants me to grow the Mordite one. There we are. Right. So he obviously just wanted me to plant it to begin with. Oh yes, I've got loads of Mordite on me, so I can skip waiting for it to grow and just give him that. Yes, the Overseer has come across as being a bit of a cunt, so I've been keeping my eye on him anyway. So it says he wants to leave, but in fact he's not going anywhere. Yeah, there you go. He's going to stay. That's as close to being friendly as I get. Right. Sounds like the fleet has arrived at that mission that they are, or the expedition they are undergoing. Right. Well, let's carry on with the tour then. Anyway, so this is the say the farming area with these 4 hydroponic trays, which I'm using to test out which is the best crop to grow. Now these area here, all of these biodomes, so I've got 4 of them, looking a bit like the fucking what's that thing down in Cornwall? I forget the name. Eden Project. That's it. I built this area up for the hydroponic trays, and then found that I couldn't build them in here for some reason. So at the moment, these are all just sitting here empty. I'll do something with them eventually, but they look alright anyway, so there is that. Right, so we'll carry on. Here, that's the way out. So we're now in amongst the biodomes, but from the outside. This is probably where I would grow the selenium or whatever that plant is out around there. That takes you back to the old weapons developer. This thing here, it's, I forget what it's actually called. It's something like the base salvage unit, and you can't actually interact with it, but I think what it does is if you remove part of the base that you built up, it gives you back the materials that you used to build it. If you don't have this thing fitted, I don't think you get back the materials, so it is certainly worth building. Now down here, this is my storage area. Each of these storage containers, it doesn't look like they hold very much because they only have 5 slots. But in fact, each of those slots, if you've got the elemental materials here, whereas these ones will hold 500, these ones will hold 1000. So you can store quite a bit. Yeah, see, I've got 996 of the condensed carbon. In fact, thinking about it, yeah, I'll need to take some out. I think with everything else, I think it's only 1 from there, and I'll take some of that there. Yeah, right, that's everything from those. The rest are all empty at the moment, but you can have 10 of them. I've got all 10 built. And then at the end here, a glass sort of like bowl looking thing, which you can just use to look around and see everything that's going on outside. So that's the storage area. You may be able to see now why this costs so many fucking resources to build this base up, and that is the base. That's the whole thing. Now, I was going to build something a lot bigger, but there does seem to be a bit of a limit. This area here originally had 2 floors, so there was a set of stairs to the side and then a whole second floor. But when I had that built, it started to send the place haywire. I didn't have the landing pad here, there was just a door, and the door kept disappearing. And then at some point the beacon that I showed you, that disappeared, and you know, it was just going mad. So I realised it was because the base I was building was too big, so I got rid of the whole second floor and I've kept it at this size. So now we get to the exocraft. I mentioned that we had that guy in my base there, the Viking, and he sorts out the various exocraft for you, which are the surface vehicles. And unlike Elite Dangerous, you have a choice of 3. Now I've built all 3 of them here. So the first one you get is the Roma, and also unlike the exocraft or the SRV, whatever you want to call it, in Elite Dangerous, you can fully upgrade all of these for any number of upgrades that you like. I haven't fully upgraded this one. Actually, it's because I completely forgot about it. Yes, I think I will. Oh, hang on, no, it's saying there's no more technology to install, so I must have fully upgraded it. Oh well. So, yeah, let's take her out for a spin. Now, initially, I did find it a bit tricky to control, but I have sort of got used to it now. So, the old cannon there, or you can change it and you can actually mine materials from your exocraft. It hasn't got an advanced mining laser though, so I can't mine any of that, but I can mine some of the, you know, like more bog standard stuff. There we go. So I have 26 ferrite dust because I really need ferrite dust. It moves at a reasonable rate. But one thing it has in common with, well, all 3 of the exocraft, it drinks fuel like fuck knows what. I mean, you see there that I've only taken it out a very short distance. So let's have a look how much fuel it needs. Actually, that's less than I thought it would be, but it already needs 7 condensed carbon. So we'll jump out of there. Now the next one you can get is the Nomad. Now this is the lightest of the exocraft. And as you can see, I haven't fully upgraded it. I haven't put any weapons on the thing because this is just about getting from point A to point B as fast as you fucking can. Now this is the fastest of the 3. Now what you can do, you use the exocraft signal booster, and we can scan for, let's scan for a supply depot. Just found one over here. Right, off we go. And you can boost the speed. Whoops, not that way though, right here. And you can even jump. Not by much, but you can jump. Now let's hope that this resource depot here isn't already guarded. Obviously the sentinels will come along once I've finished you know, destroying the actual supply housings, but actually they'll come along once as soon as I start doing that. But here's the thing, I mean, 2 years after after No Man's Sky was released, it's had all of this additional stuff added to it. Elite Dangerous has now been around 4 years, and they still haven't done something as, you know, having, you know, the different SRVs, which they were going, they kept saying was going to be a feature. So, right, we'll get the platinum from here and piss off the sentinels. More platinum here. Fuck off. Enriched carbon. Well, it's not a terrible resource. We'll have some of that. Sulfurine. Christ. It's always fucking sulfurine. Surely they got something better than that. Magno gold is definitely worth having. Alright, so that's all of those destroyed. Let's kill us some sentinels, because they're a fucking pain in the arse anyway. I don't really want to start attacking that dog sentinel yet until the 2 others have been destroyed. In fact, it looks like one's buggered off, and it's only, oh no, here he is. But he will actually start repairing the other sentinels in the area, whether it's the dog or the walker one that comes along. Oh no, I'm not going to save that because I've already been here. Won't count as a discovery. Now if I destroy this, I'll get another one of those components that I need for an upgrade to my frigate and whatever. Right, where do I put me thing up? So the reinforcements are on their way, and that includes a walker, so I don't want to be around when that thing arrives. So let's head back to the base. Ah, fuck it, the walker's just spotted us. the way it just casually appeared from out of nowhere. There are, say, some glitches and whatever in the game. Some are irritating more than anything else. There are some issues with the game that are just downright fucking ridiculous. So once we're in the base and the sentinels stop trying to, it's not that they can't find you once you're in the base, even if I'm in a room that's completely made of glass and they can see right through it, they still can't spot you and come in after you. Okay, so let's put him up on there, get out and hurriedly get in to the base here. There we go. Right, and now they can't see you. There you go, Sentinel searching. Oh, fucking windows all round. You can see him from here, but he can't see you. So what did I get from there? So another quad servo. Now I need that. So for a freighter upgrade. So right, Pugnium again. I'll put down the Starship and sell it from there. Put the sulfurine on there and sell that. Selenium I can also sell. Phosphorus. I'll put some in the. Actually, I'll keep the phosphorus because I use that quite a lot. I'll use some now to recharge that. It looks like the Sentinels are not giving up quickly, if at all. So maybe they can see me through the windows then. They never used to be able to. Right, let's sell what I can here. Right. Okay, so sack venom will go. Gravity no ball. The enriched carbon, 196,000 for just 4 of those, that's not bad. 122,000 for 5 of those, as long as they're not buying at a very good price there with that one. I think that was, yeah, because everything else I moved back to the ship because there's no. Yeah, it just makes it so much easier. Oh. But I can't sell my ship inventory from this terminal. Now those fuckers are not going anywhere. I was hoping they were going to bugger off. No, actually, I don't want to take that route. Okay, well let's. That was a glitch. He's walking through my base. You shouldn't really be able to do that. We'll get rid of them by using the. By using this. they certainly won't be able to catch up with us now. There you go, they've disappeared. While I'm here, I'll also sell the extra stuff that I've got in my in the starship. So sulfurine goes, selenium goes, hydrogen goes. I think that would only a platinum. 64,977 for 222 of those. You saw how little I was doing to collect the platinum there, so yeah, that's easy credits. Okay, let's return to the base, because I still have one more exocraft to show you, which is the Colossus. Now the Colossus is the slowest moving, which is probably no surprise, but it also is the most heavily armoured. And I mean, I could fit everything to it, and it's still got plenty of storage space. Yeah, sometimes I arrive at the base and it brings me here, and my ship isn't even on the fucking landing pad. So that's another issue. I don't know why it's doing that. There's no reason for it. So we'll call the ship here where it's supposed to fucking be. Yeah, there we go. Right. So here we are then in the Colossus. Now obviously you can build these, you build the mounting areas, or like the parking spaces, whatever you want to fucking call them. And you can build them anywhere on any planet, and then you call the particular exocraft, depending on whether you want to get around a lot faster, or if you just want to, you know, be more protected, and, you know, make use of the firepower. I mean, this thing, you can see there, I mean, it's fully upgraded. That's everything, plus the 500 condensed carbon, which I keep for the fuel, and it still has all these slots here. So yeah, the storage capacity here is significant. Now, seeing that resource there, that will be indium, has reminded me there's something else I haven't shown that I've got built around here. I've got to try and find the fucking thing though. I've got an automated mining unit set up, which you have to build on top of a I'll tell you what, I'll change to, you've seen what this exocraft looks like. And how it moves. I say it's very slow, but it's very strong, so it depends on what you consider to be the most important thing. Now, how much fuel does that need? Not a lot. 8. Right, let's go back into the Nomad because it's so much faster. So anyway, yes, the automated mining unit, you build it on top of any resource any resource you find, and as the name suggests, it will automatically mine it, but it doesn't just mine the resource that you sit it on. It will mine any resource that you can find on the planet. I've put it on top of a phosphorus resource site, but there it is. but it can also mine indium, and I forget what other resource it can get, because it's always those same ones that I keep finding. Right, so I'll get out of here. What's it got this time? Oh, it has taken phosphorus. I'm doing alright for phosphorus at the moment, so we'll refuel it. That'll start again, and we'll come back later, see if it's taken up more phosphorus or if it's found some more indium. Whatever it's found, I usually just sell. Well, I certainly sell it if it's indium. The phosphorus, even though I'm not exactly struggling for it, I could use it because, say, I use phosphorus quite a bit. Now, one thing I am really surprised about is that I haven't yet heard from my frigates with regards to them running into any problems. Now see here, this is where you see about how much fuel is used. Okay, I didn't refuel it from the other trip I took this one out on, but nevertheless 55 condensed carbon for that little trip. They are very fuel thirsty indeed. So yeah, first thing I need to decide then with here is what I'm going to be growing in the hydroponic trays here. They are all set up, they're all ready to go and everything else. And other than that, the base is, like I say, is pretty much done. Well, there you are. I think that is about it for this video. That's as far as I've got. I say the game has changed almost beyond recognition. There's so much that has been added to it, including the campaigns. Now, initially the campaign was just, you know, speaking to the Atlas and getting to the centre of the galaxy. Now the Atlas campaign has been revamped, is now different. There's also a second campaign involving the Travellers, and also the campaign with old Polo and Nada. If you played the game, you'll know who they are. I'm not going to give away too much, just in case you feel like getting the game but haven't actually done so yet. But that has been altered slightly, not a huge amount, but there is a slight difference. To begin with, I think the campaigns are great, but they do go on a bit, and not in a good way. The whole way that the game looks and feels, it's like you're in a novel by, you know, Michael Moorcock or Isaac Asimov, or one of, you know, any of the like real heavyweight sci-fi authors. The problem is that old Sean, what's his name, the bloke who is the head of Hello Games, I'm guessing has had a stab at writing a similar sort of storyline to the sort of things that they would come up with, and he hasn't really got away with it. The campaign with the Travellers, if I just yes, this one here, this is the Travellers campaign. This one is the one with old Polo and Nada, and then this one here with the Atlas path. But yes, this one in particular, this is the one involving the Travellers, is so full of absolute pretentious bollocks. And what makes it worse is there is so much dialogue spoken, particularly by the Travellers, and yet they never actually tell you anything. It's just, it's hard to describe, but it is just endless verbal diarrhea. I can sort of see what the writer was trying to do. And like I say, to begin with, it starts off pretty good and it is quite mysterious, but it goes very quickly from the mysterious to the pretentious bollocks that I can't stand. And my patience with it is starting to wear a bit thin. So I'll carry on with a couple of the, I'll carry on with the space anomaly campaign, and I'll carry on with the Atlas Path campaign, although this is also starting to stray into the pretentious bullshit territory. But yeah, this one with the Travellers, I don't know if I want to do any more of it, because I'm just sick of sitting here reading the Travellers waffling on and on and on, so many words on screen, and they do not fucking tell you anything. And it's been this way for quite a while, and I'm sick of it. So that's one campaign I'll ignore. That was also brought in, in one of the updates that cropped up when I wasn't playing the game. So there you go. That then is No Man's Sky, and that is how far I've got into it. Despite the glitches and despite the pretentious bollocks of the Travellers campaign, I think the game is fucking superb. But then I was a fan of the game the first time around. The only reason I stopped playing it was because I got to a point where I only had one thing left to do, and that was get to the centre of the galaxy. So I decided, right, I'll wait for some of the updates to come along, and then promptly forgot all about the fucking thing. So yes, I'm a huge fan of it. The additional content has made a vast difference, and I think that if you weren't interested in the game before, that may have changed now. Or if it hasn't, at least maybe what you've seen that's been added to it will give you reason to at least think about maybe picking it up. I can't recommend it enough. So yeah, that is that video done. It wasn't really a review, but I guess it sort of turned out almost to be like one. It's really just showing off the new features and showing how far I've got in the game, which I guess on the surface looks like I've made quite a bit of progress. Really, I haven't got very far at all, as some of the more hardcore players will tell you. Yeah, I really haven't got that far. Yeah, in any way. My balance here, 29 million, my nanite clusters at 10,443. That's fuck all nothing. My ship is a piece of shit. C class doesn't have all of the slots available, especially in the technology slots. So yeah, I still have a long way to go. But that is it for this video. So yeah, I don't know if I'll do too many No Man's Sky videos, because frankly I'd rather be playing it than sitting here talking about it. So yep, that's it. Now go away.